it's likely you have little idea the amount of impact that you have on other people and the amount of impact that you can have on other people. I'm Diane, and I want to challenge you to think about what you can do if you're a person in your 40s, 50s, or 60s to really make an outward impact more than what you're doing now, because the world really needs it. Going through your 40s, 50s, 60s means you're definitely entering into different phases of life, even in that time frame, from raising kids and working in your career to being with aging parents and helping with everything needed there, to possibly even going into empty nest and then to preparing for retirement. And all these phases of life mean that if you're still with me, you've gotten through them all, and you know that there's ones you're going to be going through too. But going through those phases of life absolutely gives you insight that you are able to share with other people that is of high value. And I want to help you think about the things you can do so that you can have that kind of impact.
So you've got to know that there are plenty of reasons about what you know and what you have to share can have an impact. We're going to talk about 6 here, and I think numbers 5 and 6 are really going to catch your attention. At least I hope they do. But let's start with one of the most obvious ones, and one of the ones that you might feel like you have the most pushback against. I don't have anything to share. What's anybody care about what I have to know? Well, my friend, if you've made it to somewhere in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, I'm 55, so I'm kind of right in the middle of that whole diameter there. You've been through a lot. Some of it has been great. Some of it has been memorable. Some of it has been terrible. And by all those things, you have gone through some battle-tested times that have given you wisdom and experience that people who've not gone through that don't know anything about. So you're able to speak with wisdom. You're able to speak with experience. And you're able to speak even through what pain might bring. It's brought struggles. It's brought strength. It's brought resilience. And it's given you insight. And I really just want to come against any thought that you might have that you don't really have anything to share that anybody's going to care about. Because what matters in you sharing things that bring an impact is that not that you're an expert. Nobody expects anyone to know everything about everything. But there are people that are in very similar life situations to you, and they might only be 2 or 3 steps back on the path from you. But those 2 or 3 steps worth of experience are of high value to them, and they're going to want to know what you think about it. Number 2, and this is probably another thing that you're thinking, Diane, I don't have time to do anything like this. Well, let's look at that one too through the lens of experience. Because you've had a lot of things to deal with in life, you've learned how to get things done. I know you might feel like you're a procrastinator still, but honestly, think about the amount of things that you can get done in an hour now compared to what you were able to do 20 years ago. Because you've learned tips, you've learned tricks, you've learned how to push yourself to be disciplined to actually get things done. And then when you look at that in the course of an hour, you can say, okay, in the course of a day, I can put that same thing to work to be able to get things done, in even adding a new challenge like this, of putting yourself out there in a way that you can really have an impact on others. We can talk about plenty of ways of what that might look like, and we'll do that in future videos too. But I don't want you to think that time is the thing that's going to keep you from doing this, because I know that you've learned how to manage time, whether it feels like that or not, to be able to get more done than you ever were able to. So here's number 3. I think at this point in your life, you have to have more confidence now than you've ever had before. You've tried new things. You've seen what works. You've learned how to better deal with people, hopefully. You've just been around the block a few times. And I know that having tough experiences in my life has helped me to become more compassionate towards others and more interested in doing what I can to help others to be able to move along in what they're experiencing too. At 40s, 50s, and 60s, we're just not as tempted to feel like we have to be part of the crowd with whatever new thing that comes along. But I want to encourage you to think about the new thing that you can try that has the impact on others. And even though it might feel a little scary at first, or like, what on earth am I doing this for? What do I have to say? I want to challenge you to try that one first step into that one new thing and see what you can do to keep moving in it, because I think there's real benefit in it for you and for others. Number 4, you haven't made it this far by staying impressionable and green. Have you? I don't think so. You've learned stuff as you've gone, important and useful things. And all these things can, when you assess them, especially, and you think about them, are things that are going to help the people that are 2 to 3 steps behind you on that path, that just kind of want to know what they're getting into and want to know from your experience. And let's think of all the things that you have experienced in and things that you can speak from. Obviously, if you've pursued any education from that, from a career, from raising a family, from having hobbies, from going through grief and loss, from managing difficult relationships, from enjoying sweet and wonderful friendships and relationships and marriages, and all these things that you know that you've pushed through to be able to learn from, and that you can look back now and look 2 years ago and see how you've changed and improved, are the things that you are really in a good position to be able to talk about to help others. Again, no one's looking at you to be a total expert. They're looking at you to share wisdom of where they want to be a few steps down the path that you're already there. There's such a positive to number 5, because if you feel like you want to do things to have impact, you can make that opportunity look like anything that you want it to be. Now, for me, I'm starting this new YouTube channel, and it's a great thing for you to consider too. Honestly, it's not that hard technologically. I'll be getting to that into another video where we can talk about that. But I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, I have to have all this equipment and all this know-how and all, you don't. You don't. You get a few things and you get started and you learn as you go. And you can take that into whatever aspect of sharing that you'd want to. I know several people that have written books. I've helped to edit books, and I've ghostwritten a book. And, it's definitely something that is a big undertaking, but with time, with carving away at it, with being consistent with it, and thinking about what do you want to share, and thinking about the audience that you want to impact, a lot of people have put out extremely valuable books. But it doesn't have to be as big as that. Blogs aren't as big of a thing as what they have been, but you have platforms you can write on and share more daily thoughts with things. Or maybe you want to make it more personal. Maybe you want to enter into like a mentoring relationship with someone at your workplace, or maybe even somebody at your church. Or you want to coach a sports team, or you want to coach people who are learning public speaking or something like that. Anything that you have experience in that you can help them push along, you have an opportunity to be a coach. Or maybe you want to be in a community organization or a church where you can have some roles where you're really helping to make things happen. Everybody needs help, and these organizations are definitely better off when people with skills and experience and a helpful and generous mindset come and say, yeah, I want to help. All the good that comes from that starts with somebody making the decision of, yeah, I can be part of that too. So it's a wide open world of what you want to do to think about impacting others. It doesn't have to be anything with technology. It doesn't have to be anything where you think, oh my gosh, when would I ever write a book? Having an impact can be just an everyday occurrence for you, but you have to think and you have to plan and you have to believe that what you have to offer is of value. There are 2 huge bonuses that come with number 6: credibility and competence. It's immediate. That we don't even have to try. By the fact that we have walked through life experiences means that we have credibility and competence that those who have not yet walked through those things just can't get. So we think about Gen Z and millennials and the incredible strengths that those generations have. They're very astute with technology. They learn quickly. They have practices that they put in place. But hey, we Gen Xers and Boomers have walked through a lot of things that they have no idea about. And by the fact that we have that experience means that our believability, our credibility, and our competence factor is through the roof on that. So you don't have to think about learning anything to be able to share. All you're doing is talking about what your experiences are. And there's an entire audience that's out there that with time and with work, that you'll be able to find that audience that benefits so greatly from what you have to share. So with these 6 things in mind, what can you do to share from what you know to have an impact on current and future generations? Surely there's one thing that you have in your mind right now. So I'd love if, as you think about it, if you leave some of your thoughts in the comments. I and other people might be able to speak into what you're thinking and give you some hints as to what to do to pursue that a little bit more. But there are a lot of things that you are able to speak to because of your life experience that you automatically have that credibility and competence in, that others will benefit from. And I'll leave one final thought. There's no need to reinvent yourself to be able to do anything with this. It just means that you have a little bit of courage to assess what you can do, and then you have a little bit more courage to take that first step. So I want to keep encouraging you as you do that and talk about options that you might have and ideas you might want to pursue in future videos. If you have thoughts you'd like to hear from me on, please let me know for questions and we can consider that for a video too. But what you have to share has the ability to make an impact, and I just really encourage you to do it because the world needs it.